Hey girl, what's up this week?
Not too much. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good. I actually am not. Listen, Mercury retrograde and the super full moon, and it's causing havoc and fuckery in my thought processes, in my body, and that's it though. It's not creating nonsense outside of me, which is good.
Honestly, the beginning of Mercury retrograde was really, really hard. Right now, being in that like shade part of it, I'm good.
Yeah. What were you struggling with? What were you struggling with?
Just stuff that came up, like past stuff that came up. I had some, things come up during meditation, and I was like, why am I here again?
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
I'm struggling with that, but it's also processing emotions and feelings and, words and stuff like that. It just feels really mucky. Plus, I've had a headache for like 4 days, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So I did finally book a massage and a Reiki session here in Portland. So, and I found her. It was divine intervention, and now I have somebody I'm going to go to, so...
Oh, that's great. Yeah. You should just write it out, because for me, I'll end up with stuff just floating around in my head, and until I don't sit down and write it out, then that really helps me to release it. So
nice. Because you're a channel. Did you get a cool channel?
I did, actually.
Excellent. Are you going to share it with us?
Yes, I'll share it at the end.
All right, good.
Okay. All right, what do we have coming up?
Okay, so... all of my classes, I don't know about yours, are moving to a digital format with special classes that I'm going to, sort of ad hoc, and a couple are going to remain as live. Those 2 live classes that I will offer in both format are the workshop for empaths and the workshop for intuitives. Okay. Then I also have one-on-one intuitive development. I still have a slot open for that. And then just an FYI, I will have lots of video courses available. It is still in the development, but I'm thinking of individual classes and course packages for download. So stay tuned. That's going on. What about you?
Very fun. Yeah, so I have shadow work classes are all set up for next week.
Nice.
I'm doing Shadow Work 101 and 102, and then Manifesting will be in July 7th, I believe. It's all on my website, which we'll link in the show notes.
Very cool. And then people will be able to buy those, right? Or download those?
Yes, so they're live, but also will be recorded. So whether you're able to attend the live hour, or if you just want me to send you the link, no worries. Just as long as you get registered, you'll get both.
Lots of opportunities for learning, people. Lots of opportunities.
Yes. So I know last week we were planning on having a guest. We're postponing that until next week.
And we teased you guys. Sorry.
You know what? Sometimes with Mercury retrograde, nothing. You can't plan too much.
Blame that bitch. I blame that bitch, Mercury.
You gotta stay flexible, but it's okay. So, we have like a long list of possible topics for our podcast, but we ask for your input, and we ask you, like, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to know? Because we have this list, but sometimes it's really hard for us to pick.
It really is, right? We're like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, but if you send us your suggestions, we're super open to them. So we got the suggestion of talking about the chakras.
Yep.
So we're like, well, yeah, we'd love to talk about that.
Let's
it's on the list.
Do it. See, so your ideas could make it to the pod.
Yes. So make sure you're part of our Facebook group, the Woke Akashic, and you can, plug in your 2 cents whenever you want.
Right. So that's what we're talking about this week.
Yes, we are talking about the chakras.
Yep. Spiritual wellness and all that good stuff along with the energy centers. Okay, so first, what is a chakra? Tell us what a chakra is, Fiora.
Okay, so the chakras are essentially the energy centers of our body. So the word chakra comes from the Sanskrit word that means wheel. So they're believed to be swirling discs of energies, and they spin out about 3 to 4 inches outside of the body. They rotate clockwise in the same direction that the spiral arms of the galaxy revolve. And the chakras link our spine and the central nervous system, and they're considered to be the direct pipeline to the human neural network.
Yeah, excellent. I like that one. The human neural network.
Yes. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, because I know like the whole idea of chakras, and chakras work hand in hand with yoga, like the practice of yoga teaches about chakras as well. And so I know a lot of this people have this automatic thing of, I mean, it's Sanskrit, so it's Hinduism. And so some people consider it to be like, it belongs to that one culture.
Like the Eastern culture,
right? It's an Eastern practice. However, I just needed to note that although the popular descriptions of chakras that we're most familiar with do come from yoga, we can find references to the chakras among several different cultures, including the Hopi, the Inca, and the Maya, and many other Aboriginal cultures around the world also believed in the idea of energy centers. I know the Mayan shamans recognized actually 21 points of energy on a person. It's 9 above the body, and then the 7 in the body, which are the main ones that we're going to focus on, and then that there's 5 more below the body. They each represent the higher consciousness, above the consciousness and the subconscious, respectively, the ones below.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the point is that we're all spiritual beings. We're, cosmic beings, to break it down, we're aliens. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the Hindus were not the only race of people on this earth that were given or that brought with them that knowledge. And so energy centers are the receptors of source energy that are located in our spiritual body. And through those receptors, universal life force flows. That's universal among all beings with a human body, which we all are. So chakras are not just Hindu or based in Hinduism.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to go through each one of them.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know me, I am an intuitive development teacher above all. So I'm going to approach this from the aspect of intuitive development. We're going to talk about how psychic and channeled communication that flows through these energies and how the chakras play a really important role in intuitive development, because each chakra, each energy center is linked to a very specific intuitive ability. So we'll get into all of that. But to start out, their intuitive strengths of the chakras, I'm going to do 0 through 7 because the Earth Star chakra, we're going to talk about a little bit today, and we're going to talk about chakra number 8, the Soul Star chakra. Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Great.
Okay. So the Earth Star chakra, and that's located 12 inches below your feet. Okay. That holds your information from past lives. Its color is, there are lots of different some people say it's red, some sources say it's red, some sources say that it is magenta. But this is the chakra that strengthens your connection with the earth. It grounds you to the energy. It's the grounding point of our entire chakra system. And it supports awakening souls. It helps us sort of adjust to that frequency of earth, right? Grounding. The interesting thing is that the Earth Star is the keeper of all of our past life incarnations and karmic debt. What that means is that energy center, that vortex, is the one that holds all of that information. That energy center is also the one that guides us to where we are supposed to live on the planet in order to align with our life purpose. Remember when I said that I knew I was supposed to be in Portland, I didn't know how, and then as soon as I got here, everything started falling into place? That's what is a good example of that one. The next one, let's talk about the root chakra. That is related to our emotions regarding our feelings, our safety, and our survival. And that's located in, like, what do you call that? Like the lady part bits, or
your pelvic area.
Yeah, your pelvic area. There's a word. It's like the tailbone too. It's yeah.
Yes, it's like your pelvic region, or in the back, like the what is it called? Like
that bone. It's the coccyx bone.
There
I think.
You go.
Yes, right.
Yes, the one that hurts if you fall on your butt.
yeah. So then we've both done it, because that's the worst. Roller skating in like 7th grade. It was the worst injury I've ever had.
I accidentally did it to my mom.
Oh.
And she's like never forgiven me.
Did she immediately cuss you out?
I pulled the chair out from under her. Oh. I was playing around and I pulled the chair out from under her, and she, and she like severely hurt it. And I was like 7 or 8 years old. I was small. And we lived in Nebraska at the time, and we actually ended up driving going from Nebraska to California so that she could go to her sobadora, which was like her, her healer,
yes.
So she could fix her.
Did she fix her?
Yes.
Did she fix her?
Yep. Totally did.
Oh, I love that. All right, so the root chakra, it guides our ability to sense sort of external physical sensations in our own body, and it empowers that manifestation, and it sort of helps bring forth other levels of consciousness and ancestral connections.
Okay, so one of the things that I want that I'm going to add with each one. So, in the study in Ayurveda, which is the study of ancient medicine, there's a belief that each chakra can also be associated with certain diseases.
Yeah.
So whether that's caused by like a blockage to the chakra, sometimes like certain ones, I think it's usually the solar plexus. I know if it's like, if you lack expression or you're not able to speak your truth, that can cause a blockage in your chakras. Yes. Anyway, with the root chakra, it is associated with the following: addictions, addictive behavior, anorexia, backaches, blood diseases, bones, eczema, knee problems, leg cramps, menstrual problems, money addiction, migraines, rectal cancer, prostate cancer. So the things I'm mentioning, also weight problems and swollen ankles or weak legs. The reason why I learned this is because of doing Reiki. Like with Reiki, sometimes when you're doing you're scanning the person and you can feel like a chakra's like lit up, or you can feel like there's just something there. A lot of times it's because you're picking up on some of these diseases that are associated with that specific chakra.
People feel it differently. I feel a blockage as cold. Some people feel heat, some people feel tingling. Okay, so all of these things that they could potentially impact, she's going to list a bunch of them, guys. Consult your doctor. This is the disclaimer. This is not medical advice or diagnosis. Consult your doctor if you feel any of these.
Absolutely.
Okay, the sacral chakra, that's the next chakra, and that is located around the belly button area. And that is related to our emotions of creativity, sensuality, intimacy, and vulnerability, relationships. It's our my sacral chakra is my power center. And we'll talk about that as opposed to the solar plexus chakra. But the intuitive and metaphysical influences, that's where we get our empathy, the ability to feel others' feelings and transmute them, the feelings of self-worth in regard to receiving and giving to others and manifesting our experiences.
So with the sacral chakra, some of the things that can manifest due to a blockage in the sacral chakra are addiction to junk food, alcoholism, backaches, bladder problems, cysts, fibroids, miscarriages, impotency, kidney problems, menstrual problems, PMS syndromes, prostate diseases, stomach problems, testicular disease, and womb problems.
Well, how did they know? Here's my question. Like, how do they because that's, if you just said like 2 things, I'd be like, all right, wow. But you're saying like a ton of things. So I'm like, I want the science.
It's a list. I think it's a list okay. So, well, here's the thing is, okay, if you think about it, think of where all of these things like I just mentioned, like the idea of like addiction to junk food or alcohol, that's because that stuff's sitting in your stomach, right? Mm-hmm. Along with this like fertility things, the bowel things, PMS, those are organs all located in that area, right? So if you have a problem with those organs in that area, then that's also clearly affecting the energy in that area, right? Maybe it's like overactive because more energy needs to be there in order to attack or solve the problem that's going on in that region.
There you go. All right. The next chakra we want to talk about is the solar plexus chakra. And that is located halfway between the belly button and maybe like the bottom of your rib cage. And that's related to our emotions of intuition, empowerment, and manifestation. That is the chakra of empaths. That is where we really feel it. Yes, we feel it in the sacral, but empathy and clairsentience, that's where all of that really comes into the body. That's why you can feel other people's anxiety. That's why you pick up on their emotions, but most specifically, really empaths feel anxiety at strong levels because that's where it's generated and that's where you're picking it up.
Okay.
It influences intuitively and metaphysically our empathy, our clairsentience, the awareness of others' motivations and thoughts. So a lot of times when we sense people that are lying, we sense that there. It impacts confidence and courage. It's the root of our personal power, or it's both the sacral and the solar work together for personal power. And it absorbs, it's an energy storehouse. So what happens is it absorbs what it comes into contact with, both positive and negative. And so that's why a lot of empaths carry extra weight around the middle. All right, now that's not a proven medical, don't quote me, but typically a lot of energetic weight is carried around the middle to sort of keep the solar plexus from, being attacked. So sometimes it does feel like an attack, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, with the solar plexus chakra, there's a lot of these, but I'm just going to sum it up in saying most of these are stomach problems, which, in my opinion, well, no, it's not just my opinion. Even in Ayurveda, this is proven that it's because of the gut. It's lack of gut health, basically, affects your solar plexus chakra, because it's talking about digestive problems, ulcers, all that. That's gastritis. As far as emotions, though, fear can get like stuck there, I guess. The whole point of this list, though, is like if you're going to see a Reiki practitioner and you're having the scan done and they pick up on these things, for the Reiki practitioner, it's to show you this list and be like, hey, like, do any of these resonate with you? Mm-hmm. Maybe you should get these checked out by a doctor. It's not to tell you like, oh, you have a liver problem, let me give you something for it. No, it's to like maybe bring awareness to like, hey, you got something going on in this area. Mm-hmm. You should maybe get this checked out.
It definitely brings awareness to the mind-body connection because, the physical body is just a reflection of the emotional body, which is a reflection of the spiritual body. So it's all connected. All is one. We are all one.
Yes.
All right, so the next chakra is the heart chakra, and that is one of the most important chakras for awakening your intuitive abilities, and it's related to our ability to give and receive love and compassion for others, but very importantly to ourselves. It influences our healing abilities, our empathy, our clairsentience, our nurturing, the ability to connect to other people, which also influences our ability to connect to spirit. The heart chakra is cool in that it connects the physical chakras, the root, sacral, and solar plexus, with the spiritual chakras, throat, third eye, and crown. So if your heart chakra is blocked, like, the flow stops, and so it's hard to connect. People are like, I feel blocked, and it's like, well, and then make an appointment with your Reiki practitioner and have them focus on your heart chakra to get that stuff flowing again. But the heart chakra also regulates the balance between the physical and the spiritual, right? That again, that mind-body connection. So it's an important chakra to make sure that it's healthy.
Yeah, definitely, especially think of where it's located.
Yes.
So when we're talking about where the disease is associated with this, it's a lot of heart stuff. It's heart disease, high blood pressure, also the lungs. So like respiratory problems, asthma, allergies, that's all there. It's all bronchitis, cough, fever. But also sleep disorders too can be associated with the heart chakra.
Yeah, so it's important to have fully functioning energy centers.
Yes.
Okay, so the throat chakra, I think out of all of my work with my clients, this is the one that is the most typically blocked that spirit points out. Spirit will say their throat chakra is blocked. So the throat chakra is related to our communication with all of the dimensions and realms, with people, with spirit, just self-expression, all of it. It is intuitively and metaphysically, it influences our clairaudience and our telepathy, right? Any communication without words. Our channeling and our mediumship. When we channel spiritual communication, this energy center houses more psychic senses than any other. You'd think it'd be the third eye, but this is the one. Contacting spirit guides, guardians, angels, and loved ones, communication with the higher self, it governs all of that. So it's really important that you have a healthy throat chakra. And we'll get into what you can do to make those, to unblock them or whatever.
Yeah, because that's like, I always get this one. I always get that I have like something going on there.
Yes.
Like, what do you... What? With this one, it's I think a lot of it comes from like feeling like you're not able to speak your truth.
Yep.
It's that like lack of communication or not being able to set strong boundaries for yourself.
Yes. Yep. Not being able to say no. When you do Reiki on other people, does your throat chakra feel like? Does your throat ever feel like you have like a loogie in there or something?
I will feel it sometimes in my own body when I'm scanning.
That's how I feel it in others, is I feel like I have a loogie.
Yeah. I feel it just, most of it comes up in my hands. I just feel like as I'm going over that area, if there's pain there, it's like hot.
Yeah.
So with the throat chakra, again, think of where it's located on your throat. So that's associated with like bronchitis, sore throats, but also mental confusion, mouth ulcers, upper digestive tract problems too.
That's interesting. It makes sense, but yeah, that's for what the mental confusion. That's interesting. That would seem like it would be like the third eye or the crown.
Right. I would think so too.
Yeah, interesting.
But if you're mentally confused, then you probably can't communicate as well, right?
That's true. All right, I'm not laughing at mentally confused people, but that is a funny way to put it. I love it. All right. A third eye chakra, that is related to our abilities of clairvoyance and insight, and most importantly, the ability to trust our own intuition and to seek those answers within, right? Close your eyes, go within. It intuitively and metaphysically influences our clairvoyance, right? Our psychic vision, our imagery via the mind's eye, and then our dreams. Our dreams, any external seeing. What I mean by that is some people see auras, some people see sparks of light. I call them sparkies. That's what I see. Our external and our internal clairvoyance. also when we see numbers and colors and feathers and all of those things. So the third eye, it's really important when developing intuitively that you want that third eye to be open, wide open.
So with the third eye, or also some people also call it the brow chakra. Too,
Yeah,
it is
or the
in between your eyebrows.
anja or something like that. That's like the Sanskrit
So
word.
with that one, because of where, obviously, again, we're thinking about where it's located. So that one is related to like sinus problems, allergies, also migraines, tension headaches, also high blood pressure. And I'm going to say there's one thing that's on every one of the list, and it's vomiting. And I'm like, can you pick? It's weird.
I mean, if I see something, then I vomit. The only thing that makes me vomit on sight is after birth. I saw a picture of it once and I gagged for like an hour. I'm like, what is my problem? Put it away.
The only thing that makes me vomit is the thought of vomiting. Or a smell. If I smell something really nasty, well, I'm already gagging, then forget it. I'm done.
Tangent.
On today's episode of What Makes Us Vomit.
All right, we ready to move on to the crown?
Yes, let's go.
And if it makes you vomit, then. All right, so the crown chakra. That is related to spiritual connection, co-creation, channeling. That's located at the top of your head. The intuitive and the intuitive and metaphysical influences that's where we have our spiritual truths, but that's also where we have our abilities, our prophetic abilities, our telepathic. It's a gateway to the higher chakras, and it's the connection to the higher self and the universe. Those higher chakras, I will briefly touch on them, but we won't get into them. They are badass. They're my favorite. I love talking about the higher chakras. They are cool. They're also influenced by, they also influence enlightenment and ascension. And it is through the crown chakra that all of our intuitive information enters into our physical body.
With the crown chakra, I think this is interesting because it talks about Alzheimer's, amnesia, epilepsy, depression, neurosis, Parkinson's disease, psychosis, dementia.
Yeah, all of those.
I just want to mention something that I heard about dementia and Alzheimer's, that it's like the spiritual explanation of it. It's that people who are suffering from Alzheimer's, it's because their consciousness is moving out of dimensions.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And that's why at any given moment they can forget where they're at, because they're like they've lost control of staying, like their consciousness has lost control of staying in this dimension, and they're just like leaving. Yeah.
That's really interesting. No, that's really interesting. I mean, if I was experiencing something like that, I'd be like, well, F this, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's just pick one. Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Pick a dimension, please.
All right. So the higher chakras, those are really cool. Like I said, I'll just touch on them briefly. That's 8 through 12. But basically, those chakras are activated as you develop a deeper connection to yourself and your life path, in order to help you advance on your spiritual journey. Now, when you start working with those, it will strengthen your connection to your spirit guides, your angels, guardians, loved ones, and definitely it'll sort of solidify that connection to your soul blueprint, your path, or your purpose. It's also, those higher chakras are what help you develop that higher level of accuracy when you engage in mediumship and channeling. So there's one that I will talk about. It is the soul star chakra. This chakra activates our spiritual skills, and it's called the seat of the soul. It's located 12 inches above the crown chakra, and it allows for those higher energies, like I said, to move down into the body and through those other chakras. Your soul star is primarily what sort of activates when you find your soul's purpose. When it's balanced, we have a really clear sense of purpose and why we have chosen this incarnation. So it's an important one. I do have a class. It's a class called 13 Chakras. where I go through all of them, and I actually do a soul star activation in that class and an earth star activation. They're both meditations so that people can get that energy flowing, because it is really critical for intuitive development.
Very cool. Okay, the only other thing that I wanted to add, because I know I mentioned that the Mayans also believed in the chakra system, or the idea of energy centers. However, with them, they grouped their 21 chakra points into 3 primary points for the purpose of healing. So I'm just going to go over the 3 and talk about the stones that they used in order to
Crystals?
help put them back. Cool. Yep, the crystals that they used
Love
to get into
talking about
alignment.
crystals.
So the first area is wisdom, and that energy point associated with the mind, and so that's linked to that brow or third eye chakra. And so Mayan shamans use jade, which is known for its ability to help humans access the spiritual world and get insights and answers to clear and align this energy point. With the second point, it is the energy point for spirituality. This one's associated with the heart chakra. And with that, they use the red amber, because with red amber, it's believed to guide one into meditation, and it radiates light energy and connects to the conscious self to a higher power. And the third energy point is health, the health point. So this one is associated with the body, and it's linked to the sacral chakra. And with this one, they use obsidian, which is a stone known for its ability to ground and to heal.
Very cool. It's interesting to note that jade is a crystal that absorbs. Amber is a crystal that absorbs and amplifies, and obsidian is a crystal that amplifies. So it's as if they're all working together beautifully.
And that makes it easier too, because I know people sell, you can buy the chakra stone sets, and it's like 7 sets. But this is kind of cool, because you can just buy like bigger crystals of just these 3 and just use those.
And they all work together, you know.
I like that.
And amber's not technically a crystal. That's what's so cool. It's petrified. I can never say that word. Tree sap. Yep. But it's used like a crystal because of its healing properties. So it's a super cool quote unquote crystal. Yeah.
Isn't it technically crystallized tree sap?
I mean, yeah. So you know, tell me it's not a crystal one more time.
Yeah. All right. So when we talk about how to get the chakras into alignment, or what can we do to help them be healthy, I guess.
Well, okay, so different things block. And so first let's identify really quickly what's blocked.
Okay.
So your crown chakra, that's blocked by attachment. When you have to have a thing this way and no other way, you're going to be blocked. So you're not going to be able to connect to spirit or any of that. This is how I want it, and this is how I want it. Well, all right. The third eye, which deals with insight, is blocked by illusion. Basically, you're not seeing what you only see what you want to see, or you create, right, what you want to see. That throat chakra, definitely blocked by lies. And it's not like, you telling lies, but if you're not living your truth, that's definitely what's going to be blocked. Speaking your truth, living your truth, being authentic. The heart chakra is blocked by grief, anger, pain, but mostly it's the opposite of grief is love, so your solar plexus, that's blocked by shame. Shame. A lot of people that deal with, any sort of abuse, or just any sort of trauma, shame is a big one.
Yeah, it can also be, I feel like it's common with women, right?
Yeah,
and we grow up with certain expectations of what we're supposed to do, or we're over-sexualized, or all that. So I think that is very much connected to that as well.
Very much. And I talked about how empaths have larger, they have more weight around the middle. It's also, I've read in numerous, sources that it's also women that have been, sexually abused or traumatized in some way, that helps sort of desexualize them or hide their privates from, any potential
It's like
the
like
body's self-protection. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shield that
Yeah.
you're putting up. Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Now, the sacral chakra, which is all about, that deals with pleasure, but also empowerment, that's unblocked by guilt. So that's interesting. I feel very little guilt. Guilt is useless to me. Like, I'm not going to feel guilty. I'll feel bad, but I'm not going to feel guilty.
Yeah.
And then the root chakra, which is red, that is, of course, deals with survival, and that's blocked by fear. So we talked about grief, but also fear. So fear of anything and everything. So that's what blocks them.
All right. So do you want to talk about the crystals for each chakra?
Oh, yeah. Do you have that information?
I do. Yes. Yeah. So it's just a general thing. So I think what I've come to find is that generally, because each chakra has a color association, and I've heard of some people that don't agree with that, by the way.
Interesting.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that it makes it easy to recognize and to work with certain stones, because essentially what you're doing is you're linking the color of the specific chakra with the crystal or stone that is going to work with it. So, for example, the root chakra, with that one, it's red. So the colors that you can use with it can be red or black, because you need grounding.
Yeah.
And so the black provides that. The focus of this being for stability, for grounding, for physical energy, for security. So stones like hematite, obsidian, black obsidian, black tourmaline, red zincite, garnet, smoky quartz. Those are all great stones for the root chakra.
Nice.
With the sacral chakra, so that one is associated with the orange. So with this, you can use either orange or blue-green color stones. The focus of this being for creativity, for healing, sexuality, reproduction, for emotions and intuition. So orange calcite, carnelian, turquoise, fluorite, copper, and imperial topaz.
Very cool. And too, when working with these stones within each of these chakras, there's some self-care things that you can do too. So you talked about root chakra. Well, when you're holding all of those stones that you just mentioned, you can also work with them by getting your basic needs met, basically meaning drinking enough water, moving your body, right? Root chakra.
Yep.
For sacral, if you're going to work with those crystals, you can do that in a way to find out what brings you authentic joy and experience it every day. So it's a little bit different than just massage and all that. So
yes, yeah. With the solar plexus, that one is yellow. So with this, your energy focus being on intellect, ambition, your personal power, and protection. So citrine, amber, yellow jasper, golden calcite, yellow apatite, or gold tiger eye.
I like all of those. Self-care for that solar plexus and all of those gorgeous stones would be just to be kind to yourself. If you're living in a place of loving yourself, you're going to want to make yourself a priority and take care of yourself.
Yep. And then your heart chakra, that one we associated with either green or pink.
Yeah.
And the energy focus with this is love and compassion, universal consciousness, and emotional balance. So with these, our stones are rose quartz, lepidolite, rosazite, pink tourmaline or watermelon tourmaline.
Yeah.
Green aventurine, malachite, and jade.
Cool. With heart chakra, you're going to want to practice self-care on loving yourself and treating yourself with compassion, putting yourself first. That's really important with the heart chakra.
Yeah, definitely. Now with the throat chakra, the color with that is blue, and the energy focus here being on communication and expression and divine guidance. So with this, you want to use crystals like sodalite, blue calcite, blue kyanite, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Chrysocolla, celestite, blue chalcedony, angelite. Did I say that right?
Yes. Yeah, there's like a couple ways you could say it. It took me a minute. I'm like, oh. But yes, you said it right.
Blue turquoise, amazonite, and aquamarine. I love all of those. I like all the blue ones.
I know. Those are my favorites. The absolute favorites. So, and that was throat chakra?
Yes.
Yeah. So with this one, self-care, working with these crystals and then performing self-care, you're going to want to express your needs to yourself and others so that you can feel supported and take care of yourself. So self-expression, expressing your needs, speaking your truth, saying no when you don't want to, or when you want to say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the third eye chakra. This is associated with the color indigo, or dark blue. The energy focus here being on spiritual awareness, your psychic power, intuition. So with this, you want to use stones like blue apatite, lapis lazuli, azurite, and tanzanite.
I have lapis on, and tanzanite is one of my favorite stones. Tanzanite is one of those alien stones that when you pick it up, it does stuff to you.
Ooh,
I know, right?
Some of that.
Mm-hmm. Mixed with moldavite, do it. It's really cool. Okay, so self-care for the third eye chakra, using all those beautiful crystals. You're going to want to do the internal work, the shadow work. You're going to want to work with Fiora and take her shadow work classes. You're going to want to challenge your own ideas and reflecting on old patterns and behaviors. Self-reflection that, takes care of us at a much deeper level, which is what I've been experiencing in this damn Mercury, and I have my lapis ring on, so I might take this off. I'm not going to do self-reflection today. I'm done.
All right. And then finally, it's the crown chakra. So with this one, the color associated with this is golden white or sometimes violet. I personally think of it as white.
Do you?
But
yeah, I go back and forth. Back and forth between purple and white. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like the heart, pink and green. I don't care, as long as it's a stone.
With this, the energy focus is on enlightenment, on cosmic consciousness, on energy. So with this, you want to use stones like amethyst, apophyllite, Herkimer diamond.
It's my favorite.
Quartz crystals, white calcite, white topaz, white danburite, white howlite. I like howlite because I'm a kitchen designer and it looks like marble.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites. And then selenite is the last one. Selenite's great just all around.
It really is. I asked one of the members of our group because he sells crystals and he has crystals. I'm like, I want a giant selenite tower, and I'm like, do you have one? And he's like, no, but it's on order, so I'm super excited to get that. And Herkimer is. I was called to work with Herkimer when I learned Holy Fire Reiki. And I have had a Herkimer that I hold in my hand during all of my Akashic readings. And that sucker, there's such a huge difference. When I put it down, then when I pick it back up, it's like instant connection. It's really cool.
Wow. Yeah, I want a diamond, a Herkimer diamond ring.
Oh, I know. Well, I might know somebody who could make that.
I might want to contact my husband.
I should. All right. So let's talk about how you can clear your chakras with sound. Okay. So sound is absolutely amazing. And if you've never done like a sound bath, I recommend it, people. When I had the studio in Lansing, I had a giant, 900 square foot studio space, and we would have people, practitioners that played crystal bowls and, all the other bowls, and come in and do sound baths. And it really is a cool experience, especially if you take any plant medicines. You've known that you know that when the music comes over you, it just takes you over. It really is a cool experience. So sounds and frequencies awaken a very specific emotional state and sort of wisdom within us. And so when you use musical notes, those 7 chakras, or your chakras, all of them, it can be cleared. When I learned tuning forks, I wasn't working on the body, I was working in the field around the human. So sound impacts the 7 energy centers. All right. So if you want to balance those, the easy way to do it is just to go on YouTube, and I'm sure there's something on there about tones.
You just Google, you just search for like a throat chakra meditate, like sound meditation or whatever,
Yes.
and it'll give you the appropriate hertz that are associated with that certain chakra and how to get it into.
Yeah, like the megahertz and stuff. So you can do it per chakra, or you can do one that will, start at the top and then move down. And so it's usually a 20 or 30 minute. So I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these, and say, well, you got to use 128 hertz for this and, 324 for that. But that is a really cool way to balance your chakras, sort of clean them out. A sound bath or a sound, I guess, session, it's like
meditation.
Nothing. Yes. I mean, it was the weirdest thing, because I woke up and I said, what the F was that? Because I wasn't dreaming, but I wasn't conscious. What was that? It was the craziest thing. Yeah. So sound clearing, that's good. Or sound chakra, using the tones to clean or activate your, sorry. Using the tones to balance your chakras.
Got it. I just bought a hand pan. Have you seen those? They're like the drums.
No, what is that? A hand pan?
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll post it. What it is. But it's like a little drum. It's a drum, and you use it with these little like mallet pieces. It's
not the one that you flip and flip and flip.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's you tap it with a mallet. It makes the most beautiful sound, kind of like it's really soft, like a kalimba.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty. I had satin ceremony with someone that had one, and I was like, I want one.
And
of those.
now you're gonna get
and now
one.
I just, because the girl that I buy crystals from on Instagram, she had one on one of her live sales, and I was like, I guess it's meant to be.
Okay, so then you'll play it for us, because I want to hear it. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a pretty sound. Okay. All right, I think we're ready for a closing vibe. I think, is that all we got for chakras today?
That's pretty much it. I mean, here's the thing about the chakras. There's so much out there on the web, and there's so much detail in them. There's no way. I mean, we could do a one show on each chakra. So we just covered the basics. So if you're looking for more information, take to the Google.
Yes, and the list that I was reading off of, which I did not read the whole list because it was way too long, is you just search for diseases and associated chakras, and it'll bring that up for you.
Nice.
So, Joe, for me this week, I had this. I know the moon cycle that we're moving into right now is in Capricorn.
Yeah.
And Capricorn is a lot about like doing what you need to do, like regardless of the obstacles in front of you, right? Like
tenacious, like a goat.
Yes, like I think of the goats on those cliffs, and I'm just like, how the fuck did you get up there?
Because we're tenacious and sure-footed and have hooves or whatever the hell those are called.
Yes, and you give no shits apparently too. 'Cause I would crap myself. All right, so the message that I had that came in was about coming into your power, about just owning who you are.
Nice.
All right, so here's how it goes. I wrote bigger this time. I was like, I need to write so I can actually read my own writing this time. So I think this is going to be better. All right. Coming into your power, this is a process of communicating and thereby understanding your body, knowing its needs and being receptive to them. You have each been gifted the power of individuality, and you bring your power into the collective spirit. Every lesson you learn, every failure, and every triumph makes you more of who you are at your core, love. When you show yourself this love and respect, then you can better love and respect those around you. Guard your energy so you may show up as your whole self, but also share your energy when you feel guided to do so. You can set the example. Find your purpose at your core and live fully from that purpose. When you stand in the light of truth, you become a beacon for others to do the same. Beauty and power are not mutually exclusive. Your spiritual path does not have to be complicated with the comparison of what everyone else is doing. Your path is your own to traverse. You are loved and guided always.
Beautiful. I love that one. So did you just sit down and talk to your guides and be like, drop some wisdom on me, fellas or ladies?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
Nice. And that's what comes through?
Yep.
I love it. I love channeling. Because everybody does it so differently, but the messages are all so profound.
Yep.
That was good shit, Fee. All right, today I would like to talk about male empaths. And I'm tying this in together because right now it's kind of a really cool thing to be all, down with the patriarchy and, all of that stuff. And, while, listen, I think it is a good thing to topple oppressive and biased structures, I also think that it's sort of blanketly unfair to men in some ways, specifically for empaths who identify as male. I'm not a man hater, and you know what? Not all men suck. And so this is particularly difficult as somebody who works with empaths when I read for people that are, struggling with their empathic abilities and their intuitive abilities because they have to be manly. And I just am like, wait, what is this shit, right? Mm-hmm. So there are no rules when it comes to gender. And so being a male empath can be specifically challenging because men are conditioned to sort of suppress those traits, right? Like sadness, compassion, fear, insecurity, feeling overwhelmed. That's a huge emotion that we all feel. Again, genderless. Mm-hmm. And so those sort of gender expectations, that pressure men to fit into these narrow, and sort of impossibly contradictory roles, it takes away their ability to be authentic. And so, that's just not a challenge that females typically deal with. And so, I just think that we have to at least address that, or it's healthy to address that for men to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, this isn't something that's easy. Mm-hmm. So, also society that says, men aren't supposed to be in touch with their feminine energy. They're supposed to be tough and non-emotional and thick-skinned and any other number of bullshit characteristics. But that's ridiculous thinking. So it's common for male empaths to block those energies flowing through them. Their chakras become blocked, because they are, suppressing. But here's the thing, when you deny, we all know this, when you deny any major aspect of yourself, of your true nature, that really is the fastest way to get thrown off your game. Absolutely manifest nonsense and all that stuff in your life. So I say to our brothers out there, dudes, you do you, fuck perceived masculinity. This is your soul that we're talking about. This is your growth. This is everything. So, empathy and emotions are absolutely not a sign of femininity or weakness. Mm-hmm. They are universal. Everyone has them, and they are what makes up our energetic body, right? We talked about how they chill out in your etheric fields and stuff.
Yes.
All right. So all of that is that, I would just say to the men, it's time to wholly accept and respect who you are at the core and live your absolute truth. If you find yourself unable to embrace those empathic abilities or tendencies, because you're worried about appearing, not manly, so what I recommend is in this full moon Capricorn, super goat energy that's killing me, a Capricorn. One of the things that we can do is it's amplifying all of the things, or it's helping us see all the things that don't work in our lives so that we can see what does and then build foundations, right? Capricorn is the climber. So in this like goat energy, make sure that you go inward and identify where your personal communication, in all areas, but specifically your empathy feels inauthentic, and then just take those steps to start expressing your way in a way that feels good and natural. Just especially if you're a male empath.
Yeah. I was just reading this post about, they were talking about like the elimination of gender, and they're saying it's not about eliminating gender, period.
Nope.
It's about eliminating gender roles and gender expectations. And that's for both, for both male and female. And I think that if you really understand that more, understand why people would prefer to be genderless, because they don't want to be stuck in a box.
Right. That's called gender fluid, I believe, if that's, gender fluid. And, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm female, right? And so, and I struggle, but I try to respect people that are like, no, I'm this. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I had to ask.
But it's okay. Yeah, but it's okay to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's okay to ask, or it's okay for us to learn. And that's the thing is we can't be like the generations before us who completely closed themselves off to the newer ideas. Because it's about people coming into their power and declaring who they are, or declaring what they're not, and for us collectively to be open to that and to respect them for whoever they wish to be.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and I asked my friend Laura, I said, can you explain these to me? Explain these terms to me, because I don't want to look stupid, but I also don't want to look, insensitive.
Yes.
And so she lovingly explained to me, I'm like, what does cis mean? She explained to me, and I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. I probably won't call myself cis, but it makes sense.
Yeah, but then you also know if somebody calls you that, you're not going to be offended. Like, it's not a derogatory term or anything.
And it's not a term of endearment like, hey, sis, what's up?
Well, if you say it and you don't read it, you never know.
Exactly. So, yeah, these terms, we need to have I want to have a podcast on boomers and what they think of the terms and what they think they are. I think that would be really funny. I would crack up.
To do like a Billy on the street.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this means?
What do you think this means? No, I shouldn't say the terms. What I mean is like, I don't know, urban vernacular or young generational vernacular.
What are they, Gen Z? They come up with new terms all the time.
Thank you. And I feel it's unnecessary at times.
And not talking about people and that kind of stuff. Because I think for us, like for millennials, I know for me, I hated being labeled. Yeah. Like growing up. And even when the millennial label first came out, I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to be in this group. Don't put me in groups. So I like, some part of me is still very much like, leave me out of this. So yeah, with those having to categorize people thing, I don't know.
Okay, and listen, the words they come up with. Okay, so what's the Urban Dictionary, right? First thing that comes up is pipe hitter. A person with an outwardly dominant, masculine, or aggressive personality, but who also enthusiastically takes on the submissive or bottom role in the bedroom. All right. Why was it necessary to label that? Hold on. There's one called Lindy. It's an adjective. Something that is expected to have a long lifespan by virtue of having existed for a long time, based on the Lindy effect, named for New York restaurant. Like,
that's so random.
Or they could say expected to live a long time. So Listen, I find more of these, I don't know, whatever this is, the Urban Dictionary slang, yes.
Terms, yeah.
I find them more interesting and entertaining than anything. But there is a brand new one. The word of the day is leave Britney alone. So it's 3 words. The word of the day is 3 words. And I think we all know that it has to do with Britney Spears.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Dumb. Yes, it's dumb. All right, well, that's how we feel about, how I feel about words that I don't understand. I'm like an old people.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. Well, we are still requesting your feedback, your input, whether it's your reviews on Apple Podcast, because we will be doing a giveaway just recurring. So make sure you get your ratings and your reviews put up there. And also don't forget to join our Facebook group, the Woke Akashic. And thank you guys again for sharing space with us today.
Thank you so much.
Stay mystical, magical, and ready to do it again next week when we'll be welcoming a surprise guest. Now, for real this time.
Right.
And the topic is actually, I'll give you a little hint. It's something having to do with the paranormal.
Yeah, you're gonna want to join us, definitely. The one thing that I wanted to say about just questions, or let us know what topics you want to hear about, because like today it was perfect. Somebody said something, we needed it. Plus we need some fresh ideas. Like it's only been 13 episodes, but we'd like some fresh perspective. So please let us know what you want to hear about.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Thanks. Bye.